Hey, Steve.
Hey Dave, how's it going?
How, good, good. I just come back, right, back from a conference,
Mm-hmm.
believe it or not.
Yeah, this was on
Hence,
the Gold Coast, yeah?
hence my beautiful t-shirt. Look at this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And,
And the pin? The
and the
pin's
pin.
nice.
Yeah, I like this. I prepared
Yep.
couple pins. I'll
I'm
show the
expecting one of
camera there.
those, David. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, they were beautiful. And I just, I gave them out to people who behaved well. So, yes, the purpose of this recording, this episode, is to go through basically, what I've lived in the last 3 days, and I will go through what the conference was. Let me share my screen.
Some Australian blockchain conference, anyway.
Correct. So it was the Australian Digital Economic Conference, and that is the go-to conference basically every year that's being hosted here in Australia, in different cities, because it's very broad and very diverse when it comes to the industries that are present there. So it's not like your typical your Solana or ETH conference with a lot of degens.
So it's not like a degen hypey kind of conference. It's
Not at all.
business
Not at all.
and government and yeah.
Yes, definitely. So there was like all type of industries. We had government, regulators, so officials. In Australia, we got the regulator ASIC. We had quite a lot of people from banking, finance, lawyers. Obviously, some blockchain entrepreneurs, but actually quite a lot of exchanges. So OKX was the main sponsor. We had Kraken, Gemini, Coinbase. I met with my brother in name because his name is David as well. David Menz from Coinbase, who's looking after APAC and also is looking after the stands for Crypto Australia. So that good to catch up. And then we had cybersecurity, compliance, and also universities, and obviously larger enterprises. So it was around 350 plus people, which is a good event. Something that really stood out was the fact that pretty much there was a sense of excitement. So we had a lot of fireside chats and also keynotes, but everybody's felt, I don't know, some sense of excitement because here in Australia, we still haven't got what now America has. I think I saw that last night was that a stable coin bill has been passed. We still don't have this in Australia. It's been in the works for years and years, and everybody is on the edge of their seats because it looks like, there are good signs that potentially we'll have some regulation either this year, I think, or early next year. I think the big pain point was around stablecoin. A lot of people talk about stablecoin, that it had to be made, available, be regulated.
Well, there was also a recent ruling by a judge over a case in Australia, and it was kind of a side thing. It wasn't a direct ruling on this, but the implication was that Bitcoin should be treated as money and not as a financial asset that you can sort of charge capital gains on and that sort of thing. So it looks like that's probably going to end up going further because I think as part of this ruling, it was suggested that the ATO would have to pay back a
Really?
bunch of tax that they've collected from Bitcoin and probably other cryptocurrencies. But at least it was at least for Bitcoin at this point. So I imagine the ATO will be sort of trying to fight that, and so it'll most likely go through to the High Court at some point. So that was one of the outcomes of that. So yeah, we're still missing a lot of regulatory clarity in Australia around some of this stuff.
Yeah, and so we had, as I said, government. I think we had the assistant treasurer as well saying we recognize the industry is undeniable. We recognize the fact that the efficiencies. It's crazy. I mean, there was someone from one of the largest investment management firm, Franklin Templeton. That's like I looked it up, $1.6 trillion in assets under management, and they can't wait to be able to finally offer to their client, their customers.
I'm sure there's plenty of clients knocking on their door saying, when
Yes.
can we do this? When can we do this? But there's if that clarity is not there with the regulators, then it makes it impossible, I guess, for some of these financial institutions to get involved.
And they can't wait because they see the amount of money that's out there. What we've got in Australia is a lot of money in super funds. So your retirement fund, it's around $3.5 to $4 trillion. That is
Pocket
huge.
change, pocket change.
Yes. So there's a lot of money. Once we have clarity, a lot of that money is going to flow right into digital assets. Obviously.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see 5-10%, something like that.
Yeah. So I mean, as I was like, everybody was on the edge of their seat, just ready to go. As soon as clarity is provided, I mean, a regulation is provided, then I think there are a lot of big players ready to move.
So what did ASIC have to say? There was a popular talk?
Yeah, I mean, it was funny, the dynamic, because you had like 99.2% of the room that they're just full of crypto enthusiasts and people that just want to build. Like, and then we had a regulator here. There's a bit of weird feelings, but still, like, he acknowledges that it's an industry that's undeniable.
It's not going away.
It's not going away.
Yeah. It has to be dealt with. They have to pull their finger out and get the regulations done.
Yeah, definitely. So overall, I think there was a lot of enthusiasm around. It's just about to happen. So that's something nice to say and to see. But more specifically, when it comes to my keynote, so I was kindly offered to be on stage for 20 minutes and speak about World Mobile, and I'll do an upload of the recording a bit later on this week, and the feedback really I got was incredible. Everybody, came back and said that it was such a beautiful and inspirational mission. That's what stood out. They heard a lot of people talking about more around the finance world or the gaming world, all this, and I think two talks stood out of those 2 days. One was from, and I'm just showing it here, a project called Vana, and that was very interesting. That's really close to I guess to the mission of World Mobile, which is allowing people to reclaim their data. And I was quite impressed with this project there, which basically you're able to upload your data, your private information, into an oracle that's no human is involved into seeing the data. The data is being architectured and organized in a way that providers, clients can actually buy your data. So you can monetize your data.
But so it's allowing the individual to monetize their own data rather than everybody else doing that for you.
Yes. So you have like data collective that they call it. So first of all, this one, like a DAO is a Google, so location data capturing detailed movement history, visited places, travel routes, and types from your Google location history. So you would upload your Google location history. That it's basically your data, you own it, and you're able to monetize it. So that was a very cool project, and I was compared to this project in a sense. I said, well, it felt like we had like 2 TED talks, because World Mobile is a mission. It's not just a project. I'd say your standard.
Come and buy our
venture.
token, and maybe you'll make some money. Yeah.
And when I spoke about World Mobile, I'd emphasize on this. What was interesting is I started my talk asking people how much basically would be willing to pay to give up access to their internet. So the whole crowd, I said, I'll give you $1,000 for anyone who put your hand up who would be willing to just give up access to your internet. And I went 1,000. I said, how about 10,000? Nobody. And then 100 grand, nobody. I went to 1 million and nobody as well. And my point was,
I'll do it for $1 million, Dave.
Oh, would you?
Hang on. Hey, how long do I have to give it up for? Is it forever?
Forever, or with no real prospect of getting it. So or even $1 million, nobody was willing. And I mean, it's so obvious. Like during the conference, you have people on stage talking. You had maybe 25-30% of people in the room. They're still attached to their mobile phone, maybe responding to emails. And obviously, it's time off work for them. They have urgent calls, but like you could see, the room was connected in right, left, center. Like it's.
Yeah, I mean, you see it every day, all day.
Yeah, definitely. But it's
everywhere.
It was great. It was fantastic. All the feedback I got was just wow. We had no idea something like this or something of this scale.
That's the most surprising thing to me. I guess it's not too surprising, but the fact that you're at a crypto conference with people from exchanges, from the crypto industry, and there seems to be very little knowledge out there of the existence of World Mobile. Now, it's not that there hasn't been promotional stuff. I mean, there has, but I know we've been holding back a little bit on that until until mainnet is fully launched and everything else. But still, you would think that there would be a bit more, just a bit more knowledge around the place. But I mean, the crypto space is a very busy space. There's a lot of stuff going on. So it certainly is easy to miss things.
To be fair, the exchanges were OKX, Coinbase, and Kraken, and we're not listed on those.
We're not on them. Yeah.
But also on the flip side, it's funny, I was sitting at a table, and after my talk, I came back to my table, and gentleman, I think 2 seats next to me, he said, "Hey, I've got some Earth nodes." And I was like, wow.
There you go.
I got approached as well. So someone noticed the shirt and said, "Oh, World Mobile. Yes, I bought a lot of tokens back then, and I was just blown away by what you just talked to us about. I'm so glad I held on to those tokens because I had no idea how far he had come." And so
again, someone that hasn't really been following along with what's going on with World Mobile. So it's really that just highlights to me how much it's been flying under the radar. And I think, once the word really gets out, it's going to do very well. I think, I think we're still very much under the radar, which is, like I said, somewhat surprising, because to me it's such a great project. It would be, it's just. Yeah, to me, it really stands out in the space, but, I'm biased. Have my own.
Yeah, but standout is the right word. I think, I have to say it was a real standout from everything else.
Yeah.
And that's what really energized me. I was like incredibly grateful because everyone I was speaking with were just blown away. It's like, you're saying millions of customers, or are you talking about, or even people were shocked that there was so many people that were unconnected. I had a gentleman that came to me. He's like, "Oh, David, I need this for my country. I'm from Papua New Guinea. How can I get World Mobile? We need this in this country." So a lot of different approaches, but something to point out: nobody came to me and asked me, "So, do you have a token, and how much is it worth?" Nobody mentioned token or mentioned price. Because I did not mention the token in my speech, but it wasn't. You could see. I mean, it feels like if you're in the DGen area, everybody is talking prices and so forth. But if you're in the world of people are a real entrepreneur, they're looking for actual use cases,
applications, utility.
Applications, correct.
Yeah.
They are nowhere
real long-term value. They're interested in the future. They're not interested in what the markets are doing on a day-to-day basis.
So the question I had was, how secure is it? Do you have VPN tunnels? It was all more like technical questions. Nothing around, where can I buy your token, and how much is it worth, whatever. Which was shocking to me. It was refreshing, really. I spent like 3 days up there and didn't have time, which was probably a blessing, to check X and even refresh a portfolio. But that was a breath of fresh air, literally, just to see that people would genuinely love the project for what it is, and they see the value in it, and the mission, that how huge the mission is. And I came back to Sydney, and literally this morning, on my phone pops up a news. I'm just going to share it here. Here it is. Optus. So in Australia, we have 3 big telcos, and Optus is one of them. Is facing 100 million penalty for unquestionable conduct, selling products to vulnerable customers. And literally at the conference, I had a slide.
To vulnerable customers.
Yes.
Classic.
Yeah. Classic. Never had a slide showing that the telco industry in Australia, after a survey, was the least trusted industry.
Yeah.
Even behind social media. You had figures that are incredible, but when you see this, it was like inappropriate sales practice.
Sold phones.
Supposedly, pushing, really, it was more pushing customers to.
So sold phones and plans that they didn't really need.
Yes, but more than they really need is. They did not have Optus
no
reception.
There's no reception. Sold the plan.
Yes, so those are the practices that unfortunately telcos are admitting to. When it's all about that revenue and pushing for more extraction of value from consumers.
I mean, I don't know about this particular case, but it seems to be a very common theme with any of this sort of industrial action and stuff, that they make so much money, and the fines are usually nowhere near the amount of money that they've made by doing this sort of thing. And so, it's not really a deterrent, and they just keep, often, companies will just keep doing these sorts of things because it's profitable.
Yeah, so that was a great event overall, and that's all I've got to share, I think, and I will be sharing the recording.
I look forward to seeing the recording, Dave. But I think certainly more of us are going to need to get out and about and do this, a bit more of this sort of outreach. But, I think that's going to be something that we can get stuck into a bit more once the mainnet is completely out. And your users are on chain and stuff. Well, just Dave, on behalf of the World Mobile community, thanks for putting yourself out there and going and doing that.
It was a real delight. It was a pleasure. Literally, beautiful mission that we've got. Is there's nothing better to do than sharing this with the rest of the industry, really.
Mm. Yep, it's a great story within the crypto space.
Mm.
Yep.
Cheers.
Well, bye
Take
all.
care.
Reclaim.